The raccoon that defied the odds and made it to the top of a skyscraper after what might have been as long as 48 hours without food or water. It survived, it captivated the internet, and it is safe. I can finally confirm it is safe. So this took place in St. Paul, Minnesota on the UBS building, and the raccoon must have climbed at least 20 stories to get to safety. And when we saw this happening, it was going viral. We weren't sure what was going to happen because the raccoon would pause, and people were posting videos of the raccoon cleaning itself and just, you know, posting what it was up to, but it had a long ways to go. And then finally, at 5:29 a.m. this very morning, UBS Plaza's Twitter account confirmed after a delicious meal of soft cat food, #MPR raccoon has been caught and will be picked up by wildlife management. Goodbye, friend. So the raccoon is safe and sound, and all is well in the world.
Is it?
Amir, why do you dislike this story?
Okay, I grew up around raccoons in Michigan, and they were just such an adversary to anyone who lives there.
Can we just take a moment for I grew up around raccoons?
Like you fear raccoons where I grew up.
Dude,
they would come on your porch.
Raccoons are everywhere.
And they were dangerous, and they could have rabies. And if you corner one, it'll go crazy and claw your face.
And they acknowledged that in the post. They did say that's why we can't just go out onto the ledge and, you know, it's dangerous. And the firefighters are saying we can't do that.
We're not gonna sacrifice a man for this raccoon, yeah.
But what I like about this story, and Brooke, I wonder if maybe you had the same sentiment because you seem less cynical than Darling.
Oh no,
this isn't cynicism, this is experience.
Listen, this is.
I know Brooke's on my side.
This raccoon was trespassing, okay? It's time to go.
Oh my gosh,
okay?
This raccoon and its journey brought the internet together for just a brief moment in a place where we are mostly divided, especially on Twitter. Everyone was rooting for this raccoon just to make it to safety and then be released out into the wild. And it was a story of resilience and determination. And yes, why can't we just appreciate that? Why are you guys raining on this parade?
I didn't want the raccoon to die, but I was like, ooh, yuck, squirrel.
What? You weren't interested or curious?
The way you taught me how the other day.
Look at that. You don't root for that guy?
Oh, Grace, this is...
Yeah, no.
I mean, that's so high up.
Feral animal that shouldn't be up there. Look
what
at
is
it,
wrong with you? Oh, it's so cute.
I like videos where like raccoons like pick stuff up with their hands though, because they're very good with their hands.
You know what? This raccoon picked up an entire skyscraper with its hands and crawled its way to the top.
How about you get a pet raccoon? I'm sure it would get along so well with your dogs.
I would be open. I mean, I know that pet raccoons. I've learned there's a guy on YouTube. Maybe you have seen it before. He has a pet raccoon and he documents his trials and tribulations because he works for wildlife management in his town, and it's not an easy thing to do.
Like,
I'm glad the raccoon is alive.
What's
and
next?
they put it in a cage where it.
No, they released it out into the wild, Brooke, where it belongs.
When it got up to the ceiling, they had a bunch of traps set for it. Okay,
filled with nice, delicious cat food. Okay, we can go back and forth all day.
The point is that they took it. It was safely away from humans, okay? They put it back where it belongs, in the wild, and we're happy for that because I want animals to be able to live in the wild. You know, they need their space, like, we need our space.
When does this end though? Like what's next? Like a possum's gonna go into a Starbucks and we're gonna be like, oh, look at this possum, it wants coffee.
You know that that's different. You know that that's different.
Rats on a plane, like I just, when does this end?
That's similar. Rats on a plane is, because it's like they wound up in a situation, you know, how are they gonna get it out? How are they gonna sort themselves out? They're innocent animals.
Have you ever seen like a possum like hiss?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
It actually happened here in LA. I was on a balcony one time and at night, and I look up into a tree and I hear this hissing at me. And it's just two beady eyes staring at me from this tree on the balcony. And it was hissing. Yeah, it was Grace, and she was hissing.
Well, probably because the possum confused you for garbage. Now we have to move on because I'm not gonna be in this sour mood with you two because there's too much to celebrate. One of the many things that the internet has been celebrating is the engagement of Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande. So we reported on this show that they had gotten together and that they were dating, and very soon after that, probably around June 2nd, if we can really date it back, Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande got engaged. Now we know this because Ariana Grande was spotted wearing her ring, which is worth close to $100,000 at Wango Tango. But at the time, people didn't really put it together that when she was wearing the ring at Wango Tango, Brooke, I'm just gonna keep saying that she was engaged. People probably didn't think that that's where the relationship was going because it is so new, but indeed they are happily together. Both of them are 24 years old and on the path to finding love and happiness together. But there's another reason why they're in the news. On top of the engagement ring and them going to Disneyland and the whirlwind engagement in general, there's also word that Pete Davidson covered up his tattoo that he'd gotten for his ex-girlfriend, Cassie David, for with something else, and that he did so for Ariana Grande. I don't know. It's again a weird reporting on Pete Davidson's tattoos, which I don't think
he has a Hillary Clinton tattoo. Too.
Yeah, he has a whole lot of tattoos.
He's very.
And I think that people that are fascinated with this don't really understand when you get a lot of tattoos, the sort of thought process behind it.
I wanted to ask you that. So, like, could you see yourself just getting tattoos on a whim?
Yes.
Kind of like this
but
person.
I don't think everybody is like that. They're
get in a
with
relationship.
Full sleeves, and they all mean things.
Right. And I think that but I also think that it's a way to document your journey, and sometimes you get something and then you want to move past and you can cover it up.
Is it really like that, or is it more of kind of like a nihilistic ride or die mentality?
Maybe. But either way, it's his body. It's such a weird thing for people to.
How dare he do that with his body?
No, but I just think it is kind of weird to be like, wow, he really did Cassie David wrong, and wow, I can't believe. I think that first of all, it's wildly speculative what he even got and what perhaps he didn't really like the artwork anymore, or he just outgrew it. I don't know.
I'm really happy for both of them. They look really happy. At the same time, Pete Davidson really creeps me out. And he scares me.
Why?
Just the whole getting the tattoos, going in on this relationship so hard, getting engaged and everything. That's no one can argue that that's normal behavior for anyone.
Well, what do you think,
for 24-year-olds?
So I think both things. I don't think I'm never saying he's did Cassie wrong. Absolutely, but I think two things can happen. You can be happy for someone in a new relationship and also feel a little feel for someone who just got out of a relationship and is bombarded with all of this stuff of their ex of 2 days ago.
Right.
It's a lie. That isn't. I'm not putting the blame on him saying he shouldn't live his life. It's just both things are happening. If this were me, in this situation, I would want to be able to be happy and move on with my life. If this were me in this situation, this would be a lot to deal with.
That's a really good point, Brooke, but it is a tricky spot because none of what they've done has been really intentionally to be in the public spotlight.
That's why it's not his fault.
Yeah, so it's like he's posting a video online and people are looking and dissecting his arm it looks like he got it covered up.
I think just to put it this way, we can empathize with Cassie David, but at the same time, we don't think Pete Davidson has any obligation to worry about how she's gonna feel at this point. He needs to move on and live his life.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, from all the reports that we're seeing, they're very happy together and things are going well and their families like each other. So we wish them well. An engagement is an exciting time, a summer engagement. I have one thing in common with Ariana Grande for probably the only time in my life. We're both engaged.
No.
Good on you, girl.